Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's another Brap rant. I want to do a quick rant because, frankly, I'm kind of surprised, or maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Kind of surprised by some of the comments that I've been getting after this morning's early tweet. If you didn't listen to Basement Radio Arcade podcast last night, Gaming Forte, who is a regular panel member, distinguished panel member on BRAP, dropped some news with regards to the annual GameStop Expo. Now, a lot of people I'm seeing aren't aware, didn't hear of, or weren't aware of this expo, but the GameStop Expo has been going on for some time now on a yearly basis. It is essentially a expo for GameStop employees, so that's why you wouldn't necessarily hear about this on the same level as a Gamescom or E3 because it is an industry specific event for GameStop managers, regional managers, VPs, et cetera, et cetera. So it is very much for employees. And so in last night's BRAP Gaming Forte, while we were discussing some one of the topics of the evening, mentioned that he was in conversation with one of his fellow colleagues and had just found out that indeed Microsoft was not looking to be at this year's expo. He went to the website to confirm this. The website for the expo um, for GameStop. He just wanted to make sure it was available, that it was accessible by public. He found out that it was, and then he proceeded to share the link. He went ahead and shared the link with everyone in the live chat. So, or actually, I did that. He provided the link, but anyhow, so um, and actually, it's the link that was provided is actually it's just a map of the expo layout, where uh, showing off where the presenters are going to be stationed at. So it's a pretty it's pull up this here. There's a couple exhibit halls here. Looks like exhibit hall C and D is where most of the developers and presenters are going to be. I can tell you, Nintendo's going to be there, PlayStation's going to be there, THQ is going to be there, Square Enix is going to be there, Bandai Namco is going to be there, Oculus is going to be there, Astro's going to be there, Bethesda's going to be there, Sega's going to be there, EA's going to be there. There will be a Pokemon exhibit there as well. So it looks like there's some other Capcom will be there. Astro headsets will be there. So it's going to be a combination of hardware manufacturers and software or game developers as well. So this happens every year. Matter of fact, Forte attended the event the year before and gave us, kind of his. Really couldn't talk about a lot of the stuff that he saw because he was under NDA. Um, but come to find out, that he did see some things for the upcoming at the time the upcoming Left for Dead or not Left for Dead Red Dead Redemption 2 game that was coming out. He did see some additional footage. So um so I post this out this morning, and I was just putting it out there because I thought it was interesting. Like it's interesting, and I raised this point on Brap last night. I thought it was kind of interesting that with a big AAA tentpole exclusive like Gears of War 5 coming out, that they didn't that Microsoft was going to be there. Now at the end of the day, is this a big deal? Is Microsoft, I mean, are they, is this the end of the world for Microsoft? No, it's not. It's not the end of the fucking world for Microsoft. But it is interesting considering that you would think that with this huge AAA 10-pole franchise coming out in Gears of War 5, that they would have it, they would be there to even further demonstrate the game to the employees of GameStop. You got to remember, GameStop is the largest, despite whatever financial woes and troubles they've had as a result to digital game purchases and from competition from online retailers like Amazon. They still are the largest brick and mortar um, retailer and seller of physical software and hardware in the industry. And so They still, despite whatever financial troubles they have, they still play a pretty important role in the gaming industry. So I just thought it was interesting that kind of all this stuff. That Microsoft wasn't going to be there, and even Gaming Forte was kind of surprised, when he heard about this last night on Brap. He was surprised to hear that Nintendo, or not Nintendo, that Microsoft was not going to be at GameStop Expo. So I posted this out just because I thought it was interesting that they were going to be there, and of course you can imagine what happened next. Now, guys, it's interesting. I've had guys accuse me of trying to I had one gentleman say, "Oh, I know what you're doing, Enrique. I know." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, okay. What am I doing?" And I am part of Odessa. There's some secret agenda that I have to influence people against the Xbox. I've come clean. This shit is hilarious. It's like, there's no conspiracy theory here, people. I'm not here to trash Microsoft or Xbox. And it's amazing. It's amazing to me the kind of reaction that I got. People started bringing up, oh, you guys didn't have any problems with Sony not being at E3. Oh, and it's like, we did comment about Sony being at E3. It was that was huge news. I mean, that was a big surprise that Sony wasn't going to be at E3, and it raised several questions. But at least with Sony, Sony at least came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to be at E3 because of A, B, and C." They let us know why they weren't going to be at E3. Now we could debate till the cows come home whether or not that was a bad move or a smart move. I thought it was an odd move that they weren't at E3 this year. And maybe that could potentially, I thought that maybe that could potentially be an opportunity for Microsoft to kind of steal the thunder at E3. But it's interesting. Like, guys, E3 is come and gone, and people for whatever reason feel the need to say, "Oh, well, if well, Sony's not doing this, or Microsoft's not doing this, and why are you making a big deal? You didn't make a big deal out of this, guys." Let's try to stay on topic here. The topic is, and the conversation is, Microsoft not being at the GameStop Expo. And so I just put it out there. I didn't give any kind of opinion. I just tweeted it out that Microsoft was not going to be at this year's GameStop Expo. And actually, real quick, I'll go ahead and pull up that tweet quickly. Sick here, guys. Roxanne. It's my singing. Can't sing. What's going on, Mods Gaming? What's up, Vegan? What's up, Daniel? So basically, I just tweeted, interesting, Microsoft Xbox will not be at retailer GameStop's annual GameStop Expo this year. The expo starts August 25th. Both Sony and Nintendo, other developers will be there. I consider GameStop is the industry's largest gaming retailer. That's all I said. That's all I tweeted. I didn't say Microsoft sucks or they're doomed, but people interpret what I'm tweeting. And this is, guys, what I'm tweeting is a fact. They're not going to be there. They are not going to be there. And I'm just saying it. I find it kind of odd considering that Gears of War 5 is coming out. And I think this is a big marketing event, industry specific marketing event for for the largest brick and mortar retailer in the gaming industry. So that's why I find it kind of odd. Like, I don't think there's nothing console warish about finding that odd, which is odd that people even think that. They think that there's some kind of conspiracy or agenda that Brap has with regards to putting out this tweet. It was just, but it's interesting. I put it out there, and it's really interesting to see people's reactions. It got turned into a console war thing where people were, you know, um, accusing me of an agenda, which is fucking crazy. It turned into, unfortunately, Sony fanboys hijacking it, and just fanboys on both sides. You kind of hijacking the tweet and making their own um, interpretation of what is being said. It's almost like this paranoia. It's really fascinating. I think at times to see adult men just really just flip out over things like this. I mean, at the end of the day, is it a big deal? They're not going to be there. No, but is it interesting? Yeah, I find it interesting. If you don't, that's fine, but I do. Um, and then it becomes a situation where people are like, "Oh, well, now it's GameStop doesn't matter because we have Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and Amazon," and that's not really the point of the tweet. But it's almost like people are triggered, and they look like, and they're taking this as an attack on themselves. I'm like, "Yo, you own an Xbox. I own an Xbox, but this isn't an attack on you. This isn't an attack. This isn't an attack on Microsoft." And even with the console war stuff, and this is the part that kills me, people take the console warring stuff, or whatever the media says, or whatever someone might tweet out that's console warish, they take it as a personal attack against them. And I'm like, yo, how do you how do you tie your own personal self-worth into a plastic box? Like, that's fucking asinine to me. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. I will never understand that. I've been gaming for 35 years. I love all the platforms. And let me tell you something. Yes, I have been critical of, and the BRAP panel has been critical of Xbox. But look, you can be critical of the things that you love. That's actually being a smart consumer. That's actually being a proactive consumer. It's okay if you've invested thousands of dollars into a platform, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation 4, whether it's a Nintendo Switch, whether it's a fucking Famicom from back in the days. If you've invested time and money into those things and you're not satisfied, it's okay to say, hey, you know what? This is why I'm not okay with what's going on. And it's okay to be critical. I mean, it's okay and it's healthy. Healthy. That's that word, healthy. It's healthy to be critical of the things that you love and enjoy. It's not a slight. When people offer constructive criticism, it's not a slight against you personally. And it just amazes me how people take things so personal over a plastic box. I will never understand it. Mods Gaming says, by the way, I didn't even know that GameStop organized such a thing. I just learned something new. Thanks. Um, Saltiest Game. What's up, Salty? Salty says, I feel attacked. um, Harvinder M says, use logic. Their next big event is Gamescom. Okay, Harvinder. Yeah, I understand Gamescom is right around the corner. But Sony and Nintendo are at Gamescom too. The other game developers that are at Gamescom are also going to be at um, the GameStop Expo. So, I guess my question would be, if why is it that Nintendo and Sony and other developers are going to be at Gamescom, like EA being one of the bigger ones, 2K. If they're at Gamescom, but they're also going to be at the GameStop Expo, why isn't Microsoft? And again, this isn't a knock against Microsoft. It's just a simple question. That's all it is. It's a fucking question. But people are taking it like, if you question why they're not there, that you're somehow slighting them. No, you're not slighting them. You're asking them a question. That's all. And you're asking the question because this is different from what Microsoft has traditionally done as it relates to the GameStop Expo, where they have actually been and attended this specific event. Forte mentioned that the couple expos that he's been to, Microsoft and the Xbox has always been there. So again, this is, the question is why, and there's nothing wrong with that. It could be maybe Microsoft doesn't feel like they need to be there because um, they feel like, maybe that's not the right platform or right venue for them to advertise or market their goods anymore. Maybe that's the case. Who knows? We don't know. I just find it interesting, and that's all. But it's just amazing. It's just amazing to the kind of the feedback that that I've been getting off this tweet, where people are clearly, some people are just angry, and some people, unfortunately, on the PlayStation side have turned it into console warring. And if the people on the other side of the fence which is crazy to even say that. But if the people on the PlayStation community who are extremists, if they're out there using that to stoke the console war flames, just ignore it. Ignore it. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't impact you personally at all. So, um, Mods Gaming says, now on a serious note, it's weird if they skip it. I'm sure they want to sell Scarlet. Will they? Um, yeah, and that's kind of the other thing. Like, with and again, I mean, I would imagine, and again, we they haven't officially revealed Scarlet, but they talked about Scarlet. Um, they talked about Scarlet E3. I mean, yeah, I guess we could infer that maybe that would be a place where they would talk about Scarlet under NDA in depth with the GameStop employees to get them maybe hyped, get them excited. Because you got to remember, these individuals are there to learn about products so that they can go out and sell these products to consumers that come into their stores. Saltiest Gaming says maybe it has to do with scheduling or business relationships. Yeah, I mean, maybe, maybe they have a bad relationship with GameStop. I don't know. Um, you know, scheduling, yeah, maybe scheduling, but I think with the scheduling thing, Salty, I do find it kind of odd that Nintendo and Sony, who are also going to be at Gamescom, are still managing to make it out to the GameStop Expo right after Gamescom. So, but who knows? I just again, I found it interesting, and my colleague Forte, who is a manager at GameStop, was actually surprised to hear this news last night, and he found out about this as we were, in the latter part of our live podcast on Brap. So I think we were all like kind of surprised, like, oh, that's interesting. Like, why aren't they going to be there when they've been there in previous years? So it's not a console war things, guys. So I think you guys need to maybe settle down a little bit, maybe take a maybe maybe warm up some hot water, make some tea, kick up your legs, and just relax. Maybe some chamomile tea, something like that. Or maybe just sit down and play some video games. Shadow the Ghost says Xbox said is the reason why. Oh, okay. Okay, so Salty even said this, the sad edition of the console. Yeah, I mean, GameStop didn't want to carry that consoles. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But even then, I mean, I'm still surprised that that Microsoft would even go to that link. I mean, the set console hasn't sold well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. Eddie T says, "Aren't you watching the Call of Duty multiplayer reveal stream?" No, I'm not watching it. I'm actually on my lunch break right now, as I'm working. Just wanted to talk about this. Um, the tweet that I sent out this morning that I guess just sent people in a tizzy over this tweet. So, um, you know, it's interesting. I'm looking at some of the replies. People are still saying GameStop's a sinking ship. They let off a third of their management. Um, why can we? Some guys think, why can we avoid GameStop and not Microsoft? And Microsoft has standards and GameStop doesn't fit them. Again, that's a stretch. I mean, I don't know how you don't know what standards Microsoft has as relates to GameStop. We don't know. Uh, this is a the Warrior Ward says this is a secret Xbox hate influencer stream. We know what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, dude, some of this conspiracy stuff that people are throwing out this is fucking insane. Where, where is the? First of all, to this guy who just tweeted me, he said, "I'm not going to list his name, but you could probably see this on Twitter." He says, "Actually, I'm going to defend the person that got called an Xbot. For anybody that's informed, GameStop is a sinking ship. Again, yes, we know that GameStop has financial issues. We know that they're restructured. And actually, here's the thing: a lot of people make comments on Twitter, and I've realized this. They just throw comments out without really knowing or understanding or having all the facts as to why maybe company A, B, and C did this. So in regards to GameStop, no one's denying that they're sinking ship. But it's funny, like people are taking this in such a personal way that they feel the need to. It's not GameStop that's not saying Microsoft don't show up. Mods, yes, I've been exposed. It's not God, Warrior. That's hilarious, man. It's not. It's not GameStop that's not saying, as far as we know, that's not saying Microsoft shouldn't be there. GameStop isn't console warring with Microsoft, but people feel the need to defend this piece of plastic. It's crazy. It's like, and now they're doing it by saying, "Oh well, GameStop doesn't matter. GameStop does not matter. They're a sinking ship. They don't matter." Well, no, that's not true. And let's want to address this individual's tweet. And this is the issue with when people tweet and they don't have all the information. Yes, we know that GameStop has, um, that we know that GameStop has had, financial issues. We know that the especially this constant generation the with digital sales, software sales increasing. I think they're about 50% now, with digital software sales increasing, and with things like Game Pass and Games of Gold and other things like that, we know that gamers aren't necessarily trading games in the way they used to at GameStop. They've been impacted, and part of their layoff, by the way, they laid off a third of their management. They did. Part of their layoff, though, part of that one third layoff is actually right sizing. And so, what that means is that GameStop and their consolidation and closing of stores, which they did a couple years ago, and I know this because Forte, who works for GameStop, it broke us, kind of gave us a lot of information, gave us the reason why they just laid off a third of their management. And what he's saying was that after they consolidated, after GameStop consolidated and shut down some of their brick and mortar stores in regions, they didn't eliminate the regional managers for those regions. So they closed stores, right? But they reduced the amount of stores that were in a specific region, right? By closing stores, but they still kept the same number of regional managers, which, if you think about it, doesn't make sense. You have less stores, but you have the same amount or same number of regional managers. You don't need those regional managers. And so basically, that's what happened. They changed the compensation structure. I believe that the people that they kept, they gave an increase in compensation. Um, but they got rid of really dead weight. They got rid of people in positions that they didn't need because they didn't have the same number of stores. So that's why they laid off their management. All right. Um, I'm not sure about this thing about avoiding GameStop and how come we can't. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. But this is the this is the thing that kills me. It's like all all I don't know. All it's like all reasoning and rationale just goes out the door. Um, and I was really maybe I shouldn't be surprised by the reaction of this tweet. But it's amazing. Like the conspiracy theorists that came out. Um, one guy said, we know you're not a neutral. We're on to you. And I'm like, what? Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is like to me, like, I don't, I don't know. Like, I have other things in my life that are a little more important. I would never be a conspiracy theorist and really sit back and think about, oh my God, I know what that guy means. I know he's anti Xbox. I know what's going on here. You know what? I don't know what to say to that. It just I don't get it. I don't get it. Distracted for Life says Sony skips E3 and that's okay, but Microsoft skips GameStop Expo and bad. Again, distracted. Who said Microsoft skipping GameStop was bad? And again, why does this have to go back to what Sony did? E3's coming on. It's amazing. Like we can never stay on topic about a particular topic because we this defense this defense mechanism kicks in where people got to say, "Oh no, wait a minute, Sony didn't do this or Nintendo didn't do this." This shit is wild. I don't get it. I don't get it. Warrior says you cannot hide. Oh my God. The ancient aliens guy's hair is after you. What? Yeah, like Eddie T says, it's a classic deflection. Like, you know what? Like, let's talk about a specific topic. Like, and that's why not to get political, but that's why the whole political system's a fucking mess right now because it's constant deflection on both sides, and it's ridiculous. Like, there's no one saying that. And again, maybe this is people's insecurities where they automatically think, "Oh my God, well, you're saying that this is bad." In that tweet, I never said it was bad that Microsoft wasn't going to, um, going to not going to the GameStop Expo was bad. I just thought it was kind of interesting. And I thought it was interesting considering that they have a big temple AAA game that's coming out, Gears of War 5, that I think a lot of people are probably interested in and want to get more information. Now, I know they have the tech test, and we can't assume that everyone that works at GameStop played the tech test. I'm sure there's some GameStop employees that haven't had the chance to play Gears of War 5 multiplayer the way we have. So here's an opportunity for Microsoft to go there and show off the multiplayer game, which by all means, I think from the tech test, Gears 5 multiplayer looks really good. Um, but that's all. I mean, it's not saying that bad Microsoft. No one's saying that, and so I don't know where this insecurity is coming from, or where this is coming from, where people think that. Like, it just fucking blows my mind. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So, um, anyhow, that's my rant. That's my rant for the day. I just wanted to talk about the tweet and kind of just the wow, the reaction that it got. I wasn't really expecting that kind of reaction and people to be that upset. Um, I just it's crazy. It's crazy. I think hey, as long as you're happy with your console, man, that's all that matters at the end of the day. You know, people being critical of Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo is not a personal slight against anyone, and so I think unfortunately that maybe that doesn't get said enough. Um, but it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I don't think that way. I genuinely have a love for video gaming. I don't identify myself as an Xbot or a pony. If you'd ask me, so like people ask me, "Are you a Xbox guy or PlayStation guy?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just a gamer. Play video games, and that's it." So, anyhow, that's my rant. I got to get back to work, guys. Um, Thank you guys for hanging out. Worry, thank you for exposing me. And letting people know what my true intentions are. So, everyone, hey, have a great rest of the day. I really appreciate all the comments in the live chat. And who knows? Maybe there'll be another Brap rant um, later on in the week. Who knows? Depending on what news drops. So, on that note, I am out. Hit that like button, subscribe or not. But more importantly, have a great rest of the day, guys. I will see you later. Peace.